ever wonder why some stories haunt us long after the credits roll, Emily Bronte's is one such tale, and the latest adaptation takes that haunting to a whole new level. Emerald Fennell, known for her daring vision, delivers a version that's less a retelling and more like a radical reimagining. And forget everything you think you know, because this isn't playing by the rules. Previous adaptations, like the 1939 classic, often streamlined the story, focusing heavily on the doomed romance of Heathcliff and Cathy, but Fennell's approach is far more ambitious. She doesn't just adapt the story, she dissects it, exposing the raw, unsettling core beneath the romantic veneer. Characters are twisted, motivations are questioned, and the very definition of love is thrown into disarray. And the film dives deep into the childhood of Cathy and Heathcliff, revealing an environment where maybe kindness is a weakness and nastiness is rewarded. This formative experience shapes their entire lives, laying the foundation for a relationship built on obsession and pain. A particularly brutal scene involving Cathy's father in a storm sets the stage for the twisted dynamic that will define their future. But the real shock comes with the ending. Instead of a tragic death and a cycle of revenge, Fennell loops back to the beginning, revisiting the night of Cathy's father's birthday. And we see a young Heathcliff, wounded and vulnerable, crawling into Cathy's bed. He confesses his love, and Cathy, seemingly asleep, smiles. That smile is the key. A subtle but devastating revelation that upends everything we've seen. What does that smile mean? Is it a sign of knowing complicity, or a chilling acknowledgement of the possessive game they've been playing all along? Fennell doesn't offer easy answers. She presents a vision of love as something inherently messy, brutal, and ultimately destructive. It's a far cry from the romanticized version we're used to, and that's precisely the point. Fennell doesn't shy away from the darker aspects of the story, amplifying the sexual subtext and exploring the character's desires with unflinching honesty. And this isn't a tale of sweeping romance. It's an anti-romance, a cautionary tale about the dangers of obsession and the corrosive power of unchecked desire. The film's visual style, parched landscapes, smoky interiors, reinforces this sense of decay and moral ambiguity. Secondary characters are also given new depth and complexity. Edgar Linton, Cathy's husband, is stripped of his cruelty, while Nellie, the Earnshaw ward, becomes a more conflicted and sympathetic figure. Everyone's flawed. Everyone is capable of both good and evil. And everyone is caught in a web of their own making. This adaptation isn't about recreating the story. It's about deconstructing it. Fennell challenges us to question our assumptions about love, romance, and the very nature of human connection. She reminds us that abuse, obsession, and possession can often masquerade as love. and that sometimes the most destructive forces are the ones we hold closest to our hearts. In a world that often glorifies toxic relationships, Fennell's feels particularly relevant. Um, you know, and it's a bleak, unsettling, and ultimately unforgettable film that will stay with you long after the credits roll. Um, it asks us, is love truly worth the pain, even when it's twisted, brutal, and short? Um, and um, Speaking of twisted, did you know Emily Bronte's original manuscript was covered in so many edits it looked like a battlefield? Talk about a writer with a vision. Um, with that said, thanks for watching, and until next time,